Hello and welcome to Building a Better Britain. My name's Umar Hanif, and one question I get asked on an almost weekly basis by investment firms, financial institutions, private equity firms I work with, businesses in other parts of the world is the UK is a very difficult place to try and navigate in terms of investment. If you can change three things, what would they be? And I seem to go back to the same three things all the time. First and foremost, the geopolitical landscape of the UK is not an attractive one. Since mid 2016, when we had the referendum on the EU membership, and then the Brexit negotiations for the 3 or 4 years following that started to take place, I was a senior advisor to government at the time, and I've got to say it was a very challenging period where, in one hand, we're trying to encourage companies to come to the UK, investment firms to invest in the UK, and then we've got all of the political nonsense of Whitehall going on behind the scenes. So we've also then had 5 prime ministers, since then as well, and we've had the interest rate increase, we've had inflation increase, we've had announcements, we've had free ports, we've had investment zones, and it's been really hard to keep track of where we are as a UK citizen, let alone as somebody looking to invest into the United Kingdom. So I think we need to really clear up what our offer is, make it clear to the world that businesses are welcome here, that the UK is open for business. But we need some stability from a central government perspective, and we need that very soon. The second thing is that we haven't really, in the way that other European countries and the US and others have offered low-cost capital to businesses, whether this is grants around research and development, whether this is low-cost capital, whether this is support for businesses wanting to start up in the UK. And, it doesn't need to be complicated. We're not asking government to outlay, tens of millions of pounds worth of cash. It could be as simple as a government-backed guarantee, against the right sort of company and an opportunity. But we need to be smarter about the way that we do that. And then the third and final thing, which is probably the most important thing for me, is making better use of and strengthening public-private sector partnerships. So most of the work that I've done for the last 15 years has been very much around public-private sector partnerships, whether this is local authority-led projects and bringing in private developers, whether this is private finance into public sector projects. The list is endless in terms of how we do that. And only this morning I was talking about a project I worked on in Gateshead, which was probably one of the largest in the last 20 or 30 years, if not the largest. And the project had a viability gap of about £30 million. So private developers were ready to pull the plug. We spoke to the local authority and they were able to implement tax incremental finance, which is basically borrowing against future business rates that will be generated as a result of this mixed-use commercial project. And that meant that it was able to go ahead. It was well over £240 million. It's going to create thousands of new opportunities, millions in business rates, and the wider gross value add that's going to have for the town and the region is going to be significant. So it was worth taking that very calculated risk. And that's just one of 100 examples that we've used up and down the UK. So in summary, the political stability of the UK needs to strengthen very quickly, and hopefully it will under this government. The opportunities around low-cost finance and or incentives around tax to try to sweeten the UK as a destination for investors. And then the final thing is to use or make better use of public-private sector partnership. Thank you.